Hello, welcome back to the channel. We're doing it again where I'm going to be talking about my opinion on a certain YouTuber slash celebrity, I suppose. Today we're obviously talking about, if you couldn't read the title, Shane Dawson and his infamous return. And I'm not sure if I'm going to name this video the way I was going to because I wrote the title down in the heat of the moment when I found out about him making his return. So we'll see if I write it or not. If I don't, maybe I'll tell everyone what I actually did. But I probably will. Well, let's get into it. Obviously, I'm going to be playing Stardew Valley in the background. Um, Ignore it. If you just want to listen to me talk about my opinion in the background, it's just so there's not a blank screen, and so I have something to kind of like focus on instead of like getting angry. So let's jump right in. Okay, as we know, Shane Dawson is returning, which is really no secret in the world of YouTube. We knew realistically he was going to come back. He was a popular YouTuber um, all around. Everyone loves him until recently. Love him, hate him, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, we all knew he wasn't going to stay dead. Now, the reason why I am saying that is because of the reason he left. Um, we all know his background, what he did. It was, I believe, 10 years, is it 10 to 11 years ago, the content he made prior. That being blackface, dressing up as a woman, and, I think it was, I don't want to say the name wrong. Um, Basically, he was dressing up in drag, but portraying black women in a very negative stereotype. There's no other way to word it. There's no other way to cover that up. That's what he did. You can't deny that. And yes, it was it was more than, I was going to say, distasteful. That doesn't begin to describe what that was. That wasn't just distasteful, it was disgusting. It was wrong to portray anyone in a wrong way or in a negative way, and especially a stereotype at that point. But we're going to ignore what he did back then because there's a lot more people who did a lot more research, and I believe they need a lot more credit than what they've received. And if you need to go look, I can look some up and pin some in the comments if I really need to. But anyway, we're moving on to around the time he left. And I wanted to talk about this because not a lot of people have brought it up. I think they like touch on the fact about his documentaries, but no one like really, I think, gets into them. When Shane Dawson, around the time he was leaving, it was when he was making documentary style content, i.e., meaning long videos that usually were put in multiple parts. For instance, part one, part two, and basically was gaining immense popularity from people. Loved them. I included watch them. I think that's also another thing, not to interrupt, but I want to note that everyone seems to like gloss over the fact that they watch Shane Dawson videos. Like, they don't want to admit, because everyone hates him now at this point, relatively hates him. I understand he's got a loyal fan base, but he was popular at a good point, and like they gloss over the fact, they go, oh, I watch his documentaries and like a couple of his other videos, but like I'm gonna pretend like I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't do it. Oh, I'm poor again. I want to note that I did watch Shane Dawson videos. I'm not ashamed to admit that, mostly because when he was doing his more graphic content, I suppose, I wasn't even an audience member at that point. I didn't even know YouTube existed. I'm not going to pretend when I was a kid I didn't have internet. Up until the age of like 15, I didn't have internet. And even though I have subscribed to channels, I've honestly never been the type to like go, I'm gonna go dig for you and information. I've talked about it previously. I don't really log on to social media. I'm just taking what I know from and about the creator, and I'm using it in my personal knowledge. So that's basically what I preface. I started watching Shane Dawson around the time where he had the food videos. Very weird content. I don't know what I was thinking. Because I went to go watch one back when I found out he got demonetized because I didn't want to give him any money at that point, especially after finding out some with the poster. If you don't know what the poster incident was, I don't want to talk about it. Go to somebody else's video. It's very disgusting though. And when you find out about it, you probably won't look at him in the same ever again. Anyway, I just want to like discuss how like I started watching him then. And that was, you know, fine, whatever. Content was questionable, let's be real, with him even then. The videos were really graphic. It was more like, I don't want to say it like that. It was like making food dirty. And at like 14, 15, when I was watching it, I don't know why I was a fat kid. And it was just like, yeah, like I'm going to watch this. He was cool. He was funny. He was what I was looking for, which sounds weird, but I hope you get what I'm saying. I stopped watching his channel, not stopped, but like was off and on around the time of the documentaries. To me personally, the only documentaries I watched was the one where he did Jake Paul, and then his big one with Jeffree Star, the one where, you know, the controversy where, you know, he made a lot of money and, you know, possibly the products I feel weren't worth it. And he hyped him up too much. But that's any business person. I'm going to let that go because, you know, you hype up a product. Even though I feel like he could have done that with anyone else, you know, at the time who was considered, you know, to be less. I don't know if I should say that. I don't know if that's wrong to say on YouTube. I'm going to skip over that. I don't want to get sued. I can't afford to get sued. Let's steer this back on track. Anyway, Shane Dawson and his documentaries. Before he left, that's what he was doing. Documentaries, which a lot of people were into. He got millions of views. I don't know about monetization much because no one really talks about it. But it looks like he made quite a profit on YouTube from the sales of his documentaries, also his makeup at the time. Now, when stuff started resurfacing, obviously people were not happy. You know, you have this beloved creator who you were monetarily supporting. Let's be honest, at this point, you are monetarily supporting them because guess what? You love them. Yeah, and most people, I hate to say it, when you find a creator, you don't really look too much into them. At least I don't. I don't go looking for old hidden channels. And I'm saying I'm glad, and I'm not saying like I'm mad someone found it or anything like that. I'm actually glad someone found that because to find out it's still monetized, you're gaining money from that. And then it almost felt like when you were watching him, he was acting like he forgot about it. You have to pay taxes on that. That was still monetary. You didn't forget that. You want to pretend you forgot it and then just gloss over the fact that you are monetizing a stereotype for years. I don't find that right. Anyway, we're going to go past that. I don't know if I said, I watched the Jake Paul one, I watched the Jeffree Star one, and Graveyard Girl. I watched Graveyard Girl. I don't know why I acted like I only watched two. I watched Graveyard Girl because I had never heard of Graveyard Girl personally. I have no money. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, anyway. So we're going into, you know, he's losing subscribers rapidly. Well, at this point, he wasn't losing subscribers rapidly to me. To me, it felt at this point, a lot of people were on the iffy side of whether or not to believe it. Because even though that there was video evidence, there still is, and I'm pretty sure it's still up. You can find it somewhere because I don't want to... I don't want to say anything and then be wrong. But for some reason, I have a feeling like all those videos are still up. I don't know why, but they're probably on somebody else's channel, not his. because I swore I've seen them on YouTube still. And I've always, if I see them, I report them for misinformation or harmful content. Uh, because I don't think someone should be profiting off of watching those videos. Yes, I prefer someone else getting the views, but at the same point, I just think it's wrong because it's caused a lot of harm to the people it's negatively hurting, i.e. African American women, because those stereotypes are very harmful to many of them. And whether or not your opinion on someone is, you shouldn't be interpreting them if you're not a part of that stereotype or that race. And if you are, you're a bad person. I don't care what you say. Times have changed, and there's no excuse of, but it back in the day. No, then it was back in the day. It's not today. And I know how to perceive a joke. To me, that's not a joke. Obviously, comedy was different back in the day, and even if you try to cover this up, but be like, oh, but it was just how it was back in the day. I think that's like the excuse a lot of people are using to justify this, but it was back in the day. I know it was back in the day. I know how to read dates. I know how to click down on the description of the video and say, oh, that's when it was posted. I know how to read. But what I do know as well is that I don't know. It's not funny anymore. It's not funny. I don't find it funny, and it's not entertaining. It doesn't hold that weight it used to. Times have changed. That's what I'm getting at. Times have changed. This, I hate to say it, and it makes me sick saying this, but there was a time this was, I'm so sorry if this hurts people, this was acceptable. I hate to say it. At one point, this was acceptable. Dressing up as a black person, portraying stereotypes, it was okay as long as you were white. That is not how it is anymore. And I don't know how I have to like break that to some people because they have it in their head that like this was okay. And I know a lot of people want to say, but even 10 years it's not okay, because you're looking at it as it is as a modern person. You're not taking into account that there was a whole generation who thought this was okay. We never bat an eyelash as a kid when you were watching it. You probably didn't even bat an eyelash when you watched it. You probably thought it was funny. And I'm not saying that's for everyone, but I just want to take into account that some people probably looked at it, thought it was hilarious, and went about their day. But it's important to know modernly, he shouldn't have been monetizing it. The moment he grew up and realized, oh crap, this is wrong. I shouldn't be thinking about people this way. I shouldn't have used people this way, because potentially you're using a person, this trope, to, promote yourself. And I hate to say it, the moment he saw that this was wrong, modernly, he should have deleted it. It shouldn't have been promoted. It shouldn't have been on a channel. It should have been not even demonetized. It shouldn't have existed anymore. He should have taken it off and deleted those videos and pretended as if it never happened. I hate to say it, and I'm saying this from a standpoint of like a PR team. He should have pretended it never happened, because at the end of the day, public opinion changes often, and it only takes one thing to ruin a creator. Now, we're going to skip over that about how I feel now, because at the end of the day, no one's hiring me as their PR team, so why would I give free consultation? So he lost fame because a lot of things were coming out about his past. And once again, if you want to look more into that, plenty of other people. But I'm done talking about that. I want to talk about the documentaries. Okay, with the documentaries, there was this thing of Shane Dawson, I suppose, promoting them or helping them gain popularity again. Because supposedly they were dying channels who needed a boost in numbers, or in the case of Trisha Paytas, not Trisha Paytas, Tana Mongeau with the whole TanaCon. I remember that happening. I have the memory of a goldfish. TanaCon happened, and they in the instance, for instance, with Tana and Jake Paul, they needed a rebranding of I'm a better person now. It was an accident. I was young. I was influenced by money and fame. No. I know people need water. That's what I never understood. You know what? That's a whole nother video. Why am I giving you free content? No. That's a whole nother video I could talk about. Anyway, in these cases, it was basically Shane Dawson using his influence as a, I guess, as he called himself, like the dad of YouTube, um, using that influence to basically make these other channels look good. And while I didn't really dislike it in the beginning, obviously I wasn't always here for it. Like I said, his content sometimes was for me, sometimes it wasn't. It just depended on how I felt that day, if when I looked it up. I still now am iffy about his content. It's not my favorite, it's not my least favorite. It's just there to me, his content, so you really can't do anything about it. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah. So I want to talk about also when he left YouTube, because you know the whole thing came out. I want to also talk about how he left YouTube. The way he left YouTube was really sketchy. That's the nicest way to put it, I suppose. It was sketchy. I'm sorry this video is all over the place. I'm just like interrupting because I'm just irritated at this point because I feel like Shane Dawson could have handled this so much better. The proper thing would have been to delete those videos, issue a public apology, and be like, I'm sorry, I messed up, I didn't think about it, blah, 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 blah. How will you ever forgive me? You know, stuff like that. And I think a lot of this stuff could have gone down a lot more different because he did have credibility at this point. And now he has no credibility. Well, he has some credibility, let's be honest. I'm not going to lie to anybody. He still has credibility, but it just doesn't make sense to me why people do the things that they do. Anyway, when he was doing these documentaries, it is important to know, though, that not everybody liked them. More importantly, people thought he was butting his nose in some cases where he shouldn't have been, such as like with Graveyard Girl, because once again, even you brought your audience over, gave her hope, because that's to me essentially what happened, because as far as I know, her views really haven't gotten any better. Like here and there, maybe I think they get better, but I think for the most part, she still didn't gain that popularity he promised, which I feel bad saying that makes sense, that she didn't gain that popularity back. Because once again, you brought your audience over with a documentary on your side. You monetized that. You did a mini documentary on her. And then you basically pumped her up, gave her hope that her channel was going to come back, that not everything she did was a waste, that there was still a chance she could make a profit off of them. And I think for maybe a few videos after that documentary, people who previously had lost interest in Graveyard Girl were reminded of her. I want to preface this. I've never watched a Graveyard Girl video. Her content's not for me. I'm not here for spooky content. Maybe one day. I like to watch people do conspiracy videos and things like that. But stuff like that, it's just not my cup of tea. But I don't hate it. I understand why people like them. But I don't understand how Shane Dawson thought that was a good idea. Just the Graveyard Girl one, for instance, or even the Tana Mongeau and stuff, those ones, I felt as a business person, on a standpoint of where a business person would be, nothing he did to me made sense. He took a lot of heat because basically you're looking at those people, what those people did wrong, and going, it'll be better. It'll be okay. Let me change your content. Let me make you look better. And then it's like saying that there wouldn't be repercussions, because not everyone's going to forgive, what happened at TanaCon, the severe burns and things. But, far be it, everyone got over that. But, touching on the documentaries once again, in the sense that I feel like a lot of commentary channels like gloss over, I want to point out that it feels like to me a lot of them like pretend that they didn't really watch his channel. And I was a subscriber to him. I'm going to be honest, I was a subscriber. I thought his content was funny enough for me, inappropriate enough to where like I, got a laugh or two. But nothing too bad. I thought it was, just a regular YouTube video. I thought they were stupid. I thought, they weren't that bad. And then for it to come out that, a lot of the stuff he did was wrong, you felt not used, but like kind of stupid. I felt kind of stupid because all it would have taken was for me to do a quick YouTube search. Not even a YouTube search, just general like Google search. And I never like came to mind that I should do that. I never thought, like that was necessary considering he was verified. Um, he was, popular. I suppose the thought never crossed my mind, and that was my fault. I should have thought about that more. But besides that, oh, I'm not facing the right way. But besides that, yeah, it's just odd how he kept his channel for so long, knowing the content on that other channel, and how YouTube never was like, no, we're not doing that. It just confuses me because as a person looking in, why didn't people talk about that channel more? Like, because, not even 5 years ago was that, 5 years ago, that type of content was not appropriate. So, why did no one talk about it? And I'm assuming it was popular content, considering it was still monetized. That's what weirds me out. And it makes me tempted to go look and see if the videos are still there. But I don't even want to give them like a search. So if you know, let me know. I want to move on to, I wrote like a little thing down. Why he really left YouTube. I want to talk about why he really left YouTube because he keeps putting out statements that it was for his mental health. And yes, I think mental health has a part in it, but I do not think it has that like a full effect. Oh god, that scared me. I'm sorry if you hear clicking by the way in the background. I play with controller. I don't like playing like with the keys. I suck with the keyboard, but remember my last video there was like a lot of clacking and I didn't know how to fix that, so I just like left it alone. Back to what we were talking about, why he really left YouTube. I think he really left YouTube for one reason and one reason only. He was scared of the backlash. You're still going to have people who are like, I haven't forgotten. People are going to jog other people's memory. I haven't forgotten. I know what you did. You fucked up. Oh, I cursed. Well, this isn't monetized anyway. Oh, well. I'm not a child's channel. If you're a child watching my channel, click off. I apologize. But it's important to note the fact, like, he wasn't he was popular, and how no one like takes into account that he had stuff like this. And then like when he left YouTube, I understand mental health had a possibility of it to have like a bunch of people, and I'm sure he got death threats. It's sickening to say, but he probably received some form of death threats, things like that. I hate to say it, and it's horrible to say it's inevitable, but it's inevitable, I think, as a YouTuber to receive death threats, because you're always gonna have someone who takes that one thing to the extreme. So I think it has something partial of it, but he's obviously online because there was a point on his Instagram where he was playing like Animal Crossing, and then I believe he was promoting merch in between those videos. Because I remember watching somebody talk about that. I don't remember if that was true or not. If you know if that is true or not, just put yes or no, because like I do not remember, and I hate giving out false information, but I have a feeling that was true. He was sandwiching like promoting like merch or whatever, or like I don't think it was makeup. I think it was merch in between like his like videos of his Animal Crossing, like I want to say it was Animal, it was a popular game that came out over the summer, so I'm gonna say it was Animal Crossing because Animal Crossing was popular. But the real reason is he couldn't handle the backlash. He went from, you know, being the highest YouTuber, I hate to say it, under whatchamacallit, you know, whatever. And he was taking the heat because, you know, I didn't see Jeffree Star taking any heat. It baffles my mind why people are, I don't think many people are taking the whole mental health thing though relatively seriously. Like obviously if he is going through something, I don't ever want another human being to like suffer, but at the same point like you kind of deserve it in like a sick twisted way, like you deserve it. You should have thought about this if it was really that like traumatizing for you. You should have thought about how it affected other people as well. But at the end of the day, you know, no one cares about my opinion, so whatever. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, my own personal opinion of Shane Dawson. I want to talk about that. Like I said before, I did watch his videos. Am I subscribed to him now on my personal account? No, I am not. I haven't been subscribed since I found out what happened with that poster. That was disgusting. That took a whole new turn. And the idea like he posted that at the age he did, it made me nauseous to my stomach. So yeah. So basically to sum it up, I don't like Shane Dawson at the moment. I don't think when he return I think I don't want to say I won't watch it because I think just pure curiosity will end up making me watch it. I think everyone will watch just out of pure curiosity. I don't even think I don't think I can lie about that. I think I'll be so curious I'll watch it. Because I don't want to lie and be like, no, I'm not going to watch it even if he does come. I think we all will. Because he's already promoting stuff on Ryland's channel, his fiance. If you don't know, he's a fiance, Ryland. And I have a theory, which I think is practically like canon at this point, that he's going to use their wedding as a self-promotion thing for when he comes back. I think that's what's going to happen. I think a lot of people think that's what's going to happen. I don't know if I probably will. And if he uses a wedding thing, like, no one's going to comment anything bad on it. Because you don't want to be a wedding video. And no one wants to talk anything bad about a wedding video. And I hate to, like, you just don't talk bad on wedding video. But there's always the next video or, like, the video prior that you can just turn comments off. That's the sucky part. That's the sucky part about YouTube is that they have the ability to turn comments off. I know why it's there. I just find it ridiculous. I don't know how I feel about him anymore. I used to respect him a lot as a content creator. And to come back and know like he's done the things that he's done, I just think is kind of sickening. It's like that whole thing with my previous video. It's just it's hard to make yourself biased when you know that you want to play nice. You know that you want to like pretend like they didn't do anything wrong. And you really can't pretend like they did nothing wrong because they did. And I don't know why people are pretending like they didn't. Maybe that's the part that upsets me so much is like a lot of people are willing to forgive something that negatively impacted a lot of people. And I don't think the apology he gave that, I think it was like a minute, not even a minute of apology. To me, that wasn't an apology. That little sticky note thing he did on Twitter that I heard about, that I saw on YouTube, I didn't find it an apology. I don't think he should be forgiven, but then again, there be it for me to decide. Because at the end of the day, no one cares about my opinion. But I do want to end this saying I would love to hear your opinion down below on Shane Dawson because I think it's a very interesting topic, him. It's very interesting. I don't think he's like gonna like kill you or anything like that type of bad person. But he is a businessman, and I do want to know that he has been through every basically variation of YouTube there is. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to, handle himself in the YouTube world. He was considered YouTube's like dad, the dad of YouTube. And I don't think that was because he was like, oh, so popular with everybody. It was more than likely because, he knew how to play the game and he was, well, maybe not very open with the information. He sure knew how to use it to support his platform and yours. I think that is important to note because I think a lot of people forget that he is a business. He's a businessman. He's not going to do everything for free just because you want him to. And he's never going to do something that doesn't help him. But it's interesting to know. So once again, before I leave off, I wanted to let everyone know if you have any questions for me or if you want me to make another video to this. Honestly, this was just me rambling at this point, like most of my other video. I was gonna say like most of my videos. I only have one video put on my channel. Like this video, like the video prior. This is just me rambling my opinion. Obviously, there's more creators who are super talented who go through great lengths to go looking for details, and you should totally go check them out. If you want to hear more from me or any other more information, please let me know down below and I will speak on it some more. If not, I'm just going to go and I'll see you maybe in another video. Bye.